What is up, Facebook, YouTube, and everywhere else you are going to be watching the Wrestling All Day podcast? I am your host, Matty Smackdown, and we are about 6 days away. 6 days away. Let's just get a little share ski on this real quick. I'm live on both Facebook and YouTube, so if you're watching this, please share with your friends, share with your grandma, share with your grandpa, share with anybody you want to share with your dog, share with your cat, share with your birds. I don't care who you share it with. I appreciate it nonetheless. So, with that in mind, let's just get this over here. Share now, friends. Cool. Good enough. Roman Reigns, the WWE Undisputed Universal Champion, closing in on 1,000 days as the Undisputed Universal, as Universal Champion. He's only closing in on like a year and a half as WWE Champion. But with that in mind, on May 27th, let's close this out. This is distracting in the background. On May 27th, Roman Reigns is going to hit 1,000 days as the WWE Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion of the world. Also, on May 27th, Roman Reigns will not be defending the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship of the world. Instead, Roman Reigns is going to be involved in a tag team match, and that tag team match is going to feature Roman Reigns and his younger cousin Solo Sikoa going for the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships held by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Now, I don't know where to start. Honestly, WrestleMania should have been the point of the bloodline. Finally, it's been Roman Reigns started this whole thing 3 years ago. August will be 3 years. And this all started with Roman Reigns coming back and beating Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman to become the Universal Champion. And he went on to have a feud with Jey Uso, which led to Jey Uso, after getting his ass beat 4 pay-per-views in a row or something like that, led him to joining Roman Reigns alongside of his brother Jimmy. Hello, Michael. How you doing? So, Roman Reigns and Solo, now fast forward all these years later, are going to be challenging for the titles, and the Usos are not. Now, here's my thing. The draft just happened about 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and the whole point of that draft, I thought, was going to be to split up those championships to WWE and the Universal Championships, and I thought it was going to be the split of the tag team championships. I guess we were all wrong, because Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens just appeared this past Friday on SmackDown. I'm pretty sure they were drafted to Raw. Somebody can correct me on that, but I'm pretty fucking sure they were drafted to Monday Night Raw during the draft. So they show up on SmackDown and attack the Usos, and the Usos lose to, who was it? Was it the LWO that they lost to? I didn't catch SmackDown. Bloodline story is getting old and stale. Maybe at Night of Champions we'll finally see the Usos break away and turn to faces. Listen, honestly, I hope. I sincerely hope that that's what happens at Night of Champions. And again, it's in 6 days. It'll be next Saturday, and I can only hope that the Usos turn on Roman Reigns and we finally get what we should have gotten probably about 2 years ago. But don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely loved. I loved the Bloodline storyline for the longest time. I did. I loved it. It was one of the best things I've ever seen in the world of professional wrestling. One of the best told stories. And when Sami Zayn turned on Roman back at the Royal Rumble, I knew that Sami Zayn was not going to take the title. I knew Sami Zayn was not going to take the Universal Championship from Roman Reigns. I knew he wasn't going to take the WWE Championship. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, I thought they were on Raw. Yeah, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are on Monday Night Raw. So they show up on SmackDown despite the fact that they're Raw superstars. Attack the SmackDown superstars. It doesn't make sense. I mean, yeah, I guess that is true, because they do have the Raw and SmackDown tag team titles. I guess that does make sense, Michael. That is very true. Michael says, but they have a champion exemption, I believe. That does make sense now that I think about it. But it still doesn't change the fact that the brand if they're going to split the brands, they need to split those titles. So something tells me that down the line, this story is not over. The Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens bloodline story is not over, despite the fact that it's been building for the last 5.5 months and it needs to be over. It's not over, and I can almost guarantee Roman Reigns hits 1,000 days, 1,000 days as champion on May 27th. Do you really think they're going to let Roman Reigns lose on the day he hits 1,000 days as champion? Now, if Solo takes the pin, I guess it's not that bad. But are we really going to have Roman Reigns lose on the day he hits 1,000 days as the WWE Universal Champion? I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening, and I see those championships being unified with Roman. And honestly, I cannot take another year of this. Heading into WrestleMania 40, I said it a couple months ago. I said if Roman Reigns holds the Universal and WWE Championship to WrestleMania 40, whatever. What the fuck ever. But if he's going to hold the tag team titles with it, I don't know how I feel about that. Because when you have a draft and you have one set of superstars for Raw and one set of superstars for SmackDown, probably should take the tag team championships and split them. Because you have the Raw tag team champions and the SmackDown tag team championships on Raw. Those titles need to be split, and they need to be exclusive to one brand again. Unifying those championships just for the sake of the bloodline story. I understand why they did it. I wish they didn't. And one of the worst things that ever could have happened was WWE unifying the WWE and Universal Championships. As cool as it was to see that happen, as cool as it was to see Roman Reigns beat Brock and go on an absolute, one of the all-time greatest reigns, whether you like Roman Reigns or not, it is truly one of the all-time greatest reigns. We haven't seen something like this since the days of like Hogan and Bruno Sammartino and stuff like that. These long, drawn-out reigns. Now you gotta admit, if the internet existed, 40 years ago, 50 years ago when Bruno was champion, yeah, they'd probably be flipping shit then too. Oh, Bruno's just Vince's boy. Bruno's being shoved down our throats. Oh, Bruno's champion for 6 years straight. Yeah, all that. But hold on here. What's up with the women's tag team titles? Seeing a possibility of Dakota being Raquel's partner, Kai turning face and leaving Damage Control. Honestly, I think the women's tag team championships are the most cursed championships in the WWE. Because ever since the outset of those championships, there has not been one reign that I actually remembered. And there hasn't even really been one tag team championship match that I really remember. Now, if you ask me about the men's tag team championships, the Usos versus RK Bro, the Usos versus the Street Profits, the Usos versus the Mysterios, Usos versus Sammy and Kevin at WrestleMania. Just lately, I'm saying. Right at the top of my head, that was 5 right there. I can't name the last 5 women's tag team matches, or let alone tag team title matches in WWE, because I don't know. I just know that Liv and Raquel are no longer champions because Liv is hurt. And if they do decide to break up Damage Control, it's probably for the better, because the booking of Damage Control has been damaging and not controlled very well at all. They made them the women's tag team champions, and then they weren't, and then they were, and then now they're not. And personally, I'm not a fan of it, because I like Bayley, I like Io, and I like Dakota. And I think all 3 of them together, they mesh decently, not well, decently. But Damage Control has just been handled very, very poorly since Bayley came back in 22. I'm pretty sure she came back. Yeah, it had to be 22, because that's when Bianca fought Becky. Yeah. So ever since Damage Control has been back, I just don't feel like they've been handled very well. Well, the thing is here, Michael says, when will Triple H realize that the WWE Universe is getting tired of the Bloodline storyline? Now, for every one person like you or me who thinks that the storyline is old and boring, there's 1,000 people, 100,000 people eating that shit up. You know what I mean? And like when the story first started, okay, like I said, WrestleMania should have been the trigger point. WrestleMania, when the Usos lost, Roman Reigns should have lost the next night. That's how it should have been. That's how it should have stayed, and we should not be doing this anymore. This story should have been over at WrestleMania. The story should have been finished, and it shouldn't have been Cody Rhodes, though. If you gave me anybody else, I would have been okay with it. But I was not a fan of Cody Rhodes heading into WrestleMania, and still not a fan of Cody Rhodes at all. So to see him lose at WrestleMania was gratifying, for one. But if it was anybody else, I would have liked to see them take the titles off of Roman. And I know now we have the Universal Championship and WWE Championship are defended as one, and we have the World Heavyweight Championship. But I talked on here before about the prestige of the World Heavyweight Championship, and it feels just like it did before. Second fiddle. Because it's the championship that states, oh, you guys couldn't get it done. You guys can't beat Roman. Well, here, have this consolation prize. And I don't like that. I don't want the world championship to be treated like it's a secondary title. I want it to be treated like it's a world championship, like it should be. And I did a video on here before about that. If you guys want to check that out, you guys can definitely check that out. I went into great detail about the my thoughts on the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. What's this here? I think the NXT Women's Champion or Tag Team Champions need to go back to NXT where they belong. Isla Dawn, Alba Fire, and Champions are not on the main roster. They're on the main roster now. Honestly, I'm happy that they're on the main roster, but those championships need to be taken from them because, like you said, they're not on NXT anymore. And it doesn't make. But then again, also in NXT, there's not a lot of women's tag teams. There was Fallon Henley, and this is how out of the loop how out of the loop I am with NXT. I really don't know. I don't know who is the tag teams on there and who's not. But I do know. Let's get this off the screen. There we go. I do know that what I thought they were going to do is they were going to take the championships and unify them, the NXT Women's Tag Team titles and the Women's Tag Team titles, and then just take those Women's Tag Team titles and defend them on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. That's the one championship I'm okay with them having the exemption to go on Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. They can go on any brand they want because that championship's not technically exclusive to one brand. It's exclusive to one division, but both brands have that division. Well, all three brands if you count NXT. So I would like to see the Women's Tag Team Championships and the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions unified, and then the Women's Tag Team Championships be defended like they were supposed to be defended. That's it. Kiana James. Yeah, I could not think of her name. I could not think of her. I can name like 5, 6 wrestlers on NXT. I really don't follow it that much, and that's on me. That's my bad. Like I'm out of the loop with a lot of stuff. But I really don't know anybody on NXT. Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, my pick for the new world champion is going to be Seth Rollins as well. But again, it makes it feel like it's second fiddle again, and it shouldn't feel like that. The world championship should feel like the world championship. At the time, like you look back at the time when The Undertaker held that championship and when Batista held that championship and when Triple H held that championship, they were main eventing every single night and it felt like a prize you wanted. This just feels like a prize you're getting because you couldn't get the big one. You couldn't beat Roman. You couldn't get it done. Here's this as a consolation prize. We're sorry. Better luck next time. And I don't like that for a world championship. I feel like anytime there's a world championship, whether it's WWE, AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, whatever, there needs to be that championship that feels like it's the biggest prize in the entire world. And right now, that's not the World Heavyweight Championship. The biggest prize in the world is the WWE Universal Championship, Undisputed Universal Championship, because that's the championship that Roman Reigns has held now for 1,000 days, almost 1,000 days. And he hasn't been beaten. I don't think Roman Reigns has been pinned or submitted since December of 2019 in singles competition. I don't even think in tag team matches he was pinned. I'm pretty sure the last tag team match he lost was with Sammy, and I'm pretty sure it was Sammy who got pinned by Kevin, because that was when they faced John Cena. But honestly, I feel Michael says that he feels that Drew McIntyre, rumor is that he hasn't signed a new contract. I've heard that as well. I think where the position Drew's in right now, Drew won the WWE Championship when there was nobody there. Not once, but twice. So all that momentum Drew McIntyre had from the 2020 Royal Rumble when he eliminated Brock Lesnar and won the whole thing, everything got halted as soon as COVID hit. I hope I could say that, not get demonetized. As soon as that hit, everything went downhill. They had the first WrestleMania without a crowd, Raw without a crowd, SmackDown without a crowd, NXT without a crowd. And eventually they went to the Thunderdome, which felt a little more like the home, a little more like a home field advantage for the wrestlers, I guess, because the crowd's there, but they're not physically there. They're on the screens, and it was a mess. It was a mess. The pandemic era was a bad era. There were some hidden gems, but most of it was pretty bad. And Drew McIntyre winning the WWE Championship in front of nobody was one of the saddest things I've ever seen. And I was extremely happy for Drew McIntyre, but I felt so bad for him because there was nobody there. There was no fans in that building. I know people backstage were probably jumping for joy for him. That was their friend, winning the WWE Championship, but I felt awful for Drew. Fucking awful that he had to beat Brock Lesnar in the main event of WrestleMania in front of nobody. And then he went on to lose the championship to Randy Orton, and then he won it back in front of nobody. He won it back in front of the Thunderdome, and it didn't, there was nobody still there physically. Yeah, people were watching live from their screens. They were live like I am right now watching it. But, it didn't still feel like it was as big a moment if it was in front of a crowd. And I think WrestleMania 37 would have been the perfect time to do it had Drew not lost the championship the month before. If Drew McIntyre would have won the WWE, if he would have lost that WWE Championship to Randy Orton and didn't win it back until that WrestleMania, then I could see, Drew's position in WWE now being higher than it was. Because at the time, Drew was their guy. Drew was the next guy. Roman wasn't there. Roman was going home. He wanted to be with his family, he wanted to take care of himself. Roman was going home. There was no real big stars left. Cena was on his way basically into retirement. There was no big stars, and Drew McIntyre was that big star that held it down through the pandemic era. And I'm, glad he did that. I'm glad he got to showcase, his ability. But at the same time, Drew's momentum got halted after all of that because when the fans came back, Drew lost at that WrestleMania to Bobby. And then after that, Drew kind of hasn't really done anything. And it's sad because Drew's fucking awesome. I've seen Drew in person when he was in Impact Wrestling. I've seen him in person in WWE. He's fucking awesome. And the fact that he had that, him having a championship through the pandemic era and carrying WWE through that time when nobody really knew what the hell was going on, it was nice to see, for lack of a better term. And when Drew lost that WWE Championship to Randy Orton for about 3 weeks, that really stunted the momentum that Drew had as well because he lost it. I believe he lost it inside Hell in a Cell, and then he won it back right before Survivor Series. Then he went on to face Roman, which he lost, and then he went on to lose the championship. He defended it in the Elimination Chamber, and then he lost it to The Miz, who lost it to Bobby, and ever since then, Drew hasn't done anything. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. He just had a classic match at WrestleMania. The match he had with Gunther and Sheamus at WrestleMania was fantastic. But Drew's the kind of guy who doesn't really need a championship. He just needs to be featured on TV, and he needs to be featured on TV more than just a happy to be here babyface. Because that's all he's been. That's all he's been. What happened to the Scottish Warrior who was so focused and so fixated on kicking Brock Lesnar's head off? Where's that Scottish Warrior? I don't want the, hi guys, I'm Drew McIntyre, I'm happy to be here. I don't want that Drew. I don't want smiling, high-fiving, hugging babies Drew McIntyre. I want the Scottish Warrior back. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like WWE has the same plans unless something changes in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully, as a matter of fact, he's on my TV right now. I believe this is when he faced Randy Orton at Clash of Champions when Shawn Michaels kicked Randy up on the ambulance. But yeah, Scottish Psychopath. Yeah, Scottish Warrior Drew is all right, but Scottish Psychopath Drew is the shit. Scottish Psychopath Drew is the one I like. Like when he beat Brock Lesnar, I was so happy. I was extremely happy. One, because at the time I really didn't care for Brock Lesnar. And I really honestly still don't as much as I used to. But when he beat Brock, I was so happy. And the fact that there was nobody there, but there was nobody there in that present moment besides the referee, Paul Heyman, and the two ring announcers, or the two commentators and the ring announcer. So it was like 5 people in that area when he won the WWE Championship. 5 people instead of 50,000, 60,000, 80,000 at Raymond James Stadium. 5 people. And I really think that that moment, had it been in front of an audience, probably would have been a bigger moment, and it probably would have been more exuberant. Drew McIntyre would be held on a higher pedestal than where he is now. And I know he's hurt right now. I remember him saying something, or maybe not him specifically, but I remember reading that he was injured. So hopefully he gets his contract situation figured out, because the last thing I want to see is Drew Galloway in AEW, because they have so many guys who are lost in the shuffle over there. Drew's just going to be another spoke in the wheel. And I don't want that to happen, because it's already what's happening now. I don't want to see him go somewhere else and then be treated the exact same way. But back to the Roman Reigns thing. The thing that makes me mad the most about this is that Roman Reigns has beaten everybody. Has come across him: John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, his own damn cousin Jey Uso. He's beaten every person that has been putting up in front of him, and it's always the same kind of finish. There's no creativity at all with these last couple of finishes. Every time Roman Reigns defends the championships, the Usos get involved or Solo gets involved. There's no real, like, I get Roman Reigns as a heel. He's supposed to have help. But every single match, like, there were times where, like, Edge, when he was world champion, would win matches clean. And Edge was one of the biggest heels of his day back in, like, 2006, 2007, when he won the WWE Championship and World Championship. There were a couple of times where he would go over clean. There's a lot of times when a lot of heel wrestlers would go over clean on their opponents, but Roman Reigns has not done that. I think the only real clean victory he may have had was over Jey Uso, and that was probably some kind of screwy finish as well that I can't remember because it was 3 years ago. But the fact, that Roman Reigns is going in on 1,000 days, something that we haven't seen before and something we may never see again. You know what I mean? This is a historical moment for wrestling fans. This is, unfortunately, our Bruno Sammartino. This is, unfortunately, our Hulk Hogan. This is WWE's attempt to modernize records, which, again, I don't blame them for doing, because records are made to be broken, and that's what's going to happen. Roman Reigns is going to break all the records. He already broke Punk's record. I'm pretty sure he's closing in on Hogan's record. I'm pretty sure he beat Pedro Morales' record. This is their attempt to modernize everything. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them modernizing things. But I want a little bit of creative expansion on Roman Reigns' matches, because every match is the same thing. Roman gets going, babyface gets going, referee goes down, here comes the Usos. Oh, Usos got taken care of, here comes Solo. Oh, Solo hit him with the Samoan spike, Roman Reigns, 1, 2, 3. Or here comes Solo. Solo's distracting the ref. Here comes the Usos. The Usos distract. The Usos kicked him in the face. Roman Reigns pins him. 1, 2, 3. And it's over. For the last 3 fucking years. That's how it's been. Every single match. I think there may have been one, like, I think he might have beaten Big E clean at Survivor Series. I'm pretty sure he beat Drew clean at Survivor Series as well. But other than that, man, like, Clash at the Castle, the Usos were they just can't get in the fucking country because of other DUIs. But, it was like, okay, well, you knew somebody was going to help Roman. So it was like, who's going to help him? Sure enough, Solo Sikoa, who got the name Solo because he was supposed to be Solo. Yeah, it was known that he's the younger brother of the Usos, but he was supposed to break away from that mold, and he was supposed to be Solo on his own. He was supposed to be a star on his own. But, again, did Solo really need to debut at Clash at the Castle? Could Roman Reigns have not beaten Drew McIntyre clean, honestly? Roman, he's done it before, so I don't see why he needed Solo's help to distract the referee to pick up the win over Drew at Clash of the Castle. That is one blunder I will never forgive them for. Solo did not need to debut there. I mean, yeah, it's great that he gets to be with his cousins. It's great that he gets to be with his brother. But at the same time, he didn't really need it because, again, he's supposed to be Solo. So, 1,000 days. And on the day that this motherfucker hits 1,000 days as champion, he's not even defending his titles. Roman Reigns is not even defending the championship that he's held for 1,000 days as of May 27th. Why? Why? Why does he get the challenge for the championships? He didn't defend his title at Backlash. He hasn't defended his championship since WrestleMania. And now this is going to be the second pay-per-view premium live event that he's not defending his championships at. Why? Why? Because he gets to work a lighter schedule now? If that's the case, give the championships to somebody else. Or just don't have him wrestle in a tag team match. Have him defend his championships. If he's going to wrestle on the card, he might as well defend his fucking titles, you know? So the fact that he's not defending the championships on the days he hits 1,000 days as the champion is really, really a bad call by the WWE. And it's really a blunder by the WWE. And if they put the championships, the tag team titles on Roman Reigns and Solo, without the Usos, if the Usos help Roman and Solo after what Roman did to the Usos a couple weeks ago on Raw, I'm over it. I'm over it. And I know I'm just one person. You know, I'm in the minority here of people who want to see Roman Reigns become the tag, or who don't want to see Roman Reigns become the tag team champions. I know there's a lot of people on like social media and stuff, but if you think about it, social media really is the minority of the WWE fans because if you look back a couple of months ago when Vince announced that he was coming back, social media was up in a blaze with all these hashtag fire Vince, fire Vince, fire Vince, all this stuff. And they said, oh, we're going to go to these shows. We're going to hijack these shows and we're going to chant fire Vince. You know what happened? One SmackDown, like 5 people in the crowd chanted fire Vince for like 4 seconds and then stopped because they realized it wasn't going to catch on. Social media fans are in the minority. And that's what I'm saying here. Like, out of the majority of the WWE fans, I'm not one. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just one person. Out of the millions of people who tune in every week, out of the millions of people who watch the pay-per-views, I'm just one person. You know, I don't know if it's WWE creative protecting Roman or if it's just WWE writing bad stories. And see, here's my thing, and Michael, I agree with you. I will agree with you. I don't think Roman Reigns and Solo are going to win the championships. I think the Usos are going to turn on Roman Reigns and Solo at Night of Champions. However, given the fact that this has already been drawn out this long, I don't think they're going to stop it. And I don't think that Roman Reigns and Solo are losing. The only way I can see it happening is if it's a disqualification. And if you put a disqualification in the main event of one of the biggest shows of the year, it's going to be a shitstorm. Stop doing disqualification finishes in your big matches. Stop it. I beg you, WWE, stop doing it. Stop doing disqualification finishes to further a storyline. It's stupid. So if the Usos turn on Roman Reigns and Solo, that's the only way I can see it going. Roman Reigns and Solo win by disqualification. Now the Usos are going to fight Roman and Solo, but why would and there's going to be no championships involved. And then Roman has his championships on top of it. There's too many factors that go into this that lead me to believe that Roman Reigns and Solo are leaving with the tag team titles. As much as I don't think they're going to, there's a big part of me that thinks, okay, well, they're going to pull the trigger and they're going to do it. And honestly, I'm kind of over it. You can ask my friends that I play Xbox with. You can ask anybody who knows me. At WrestleMania this past year, when Cody Rhodes was defeated, I was so happy. One of the happiest people on the planet at that present moment because I did not want to see Cody Rhodes as the WWE Universal Champion or WWE Champion. I do not want to see Cody Rhodes with any championships. I think Cody Rhodes sucks. I think he's been mid for the last probably 15 years, and nothing's ever going to change that. The fact that his brother, who literally was a guy who wore a wig and just painted his face gold, was more popular than he ever will be, says a lot. And Goldust, at least Goldust was like an Intercontinental champion. It's something. I know Cody was too, but like Cody won the Intercontinental Championship when it didn't mean anything. You know what I mean? So I know people are going to hate me for saying what I said about Cody, but I think Cody Rhodes is mid. Cody Rhodes has been mid, and Cody Rhodes is going to stay mid for a very, very long time. But I was very happy that he lost at WrestleMania, and I was happy to see that Roman Reigns kept the titles. But then it dawned on me like, okay, we got to go through this for a couple more months. Hopefully, SummerSlam is the falling off point. We're only a few months away from SummerSlam in Detroit. Hopefully, that's the point where Roman Reigns finally loses the titles, because I don't want to see Roman Reigns going to WrestleMania. Like I said earlier, I wanted to see Roman Reigns go to WrestleMania. At this point, I really don't want to see Roman Reigns go to WrestleMania 40 as the Universal Champion and WWE Champion. I really don't. I'm tired of the Bloodline storyline now, especially if they put those tag team titles on Roman. If they put those titles on Roman, I'm fully convinced that Roman has creative control and they're too scared to tell him no because they don't want him to go to Hollywood. They don't want Roman Reigns to go to Hollywood. They don't want Roman Reigns to go John Cena on him. They don't want him to go Dwayne Johnson on him. They want Roman Reigns to stay in the WWE as long as possible. And if that means giving him every championship and giving him everything he wants, that's going to happen. But if Roman Reigns and Solo win the tag team titles heading into SummerSlam, then I'm over it. Honestly, I'm going to be over it because there's no reason for it. There's no reason that Roman Reigns and Solo need to be the tag team champions. There's no reason that Jimmy and Jay need to be the tag team champions. And there's no real reason as to why this story between Sami, Kevin, and the Bloodline needs to continue, because that ended at WrestleMania. At least it should have ended at WrestleMania. But of course, WrestleMania, a place where feuds used to end, that don't mean nothing anymore. I don't see Roman Reigns going past SummerSlam as champion as well. SummerSlam needs to be the end of the Bloodline. I'm with you. If WrestleMania 40 in Hollywood, if WrestleMania 40 in Philly, my backyard, if that is going to be, where the Bloodline crumbles, that's too fucking far into the future. That's another, 9-10 months into the future. How can you drag this out for another 10 months? How can you drag this out for another 10 months heading into WrestleMania without having to do the same old shit that you're doing now with the interferences and the run-ins and the constant chaos that really made everything stale? Because it makes Roman Reigns, as long as he's been champion, it makes Roman Reigns look weak. Roman Reigns can't beat these people without help. WrestleMania used to be the end of current feuds and start a new feud. Yeah, but at this point, they just continue the feuds. Like, I'm glad a couple of feuds at WrestleMania stopped. Like the Rey and Judgment Day story, I'm glad that's kind of slowly fading out now. I'm glad that's really, done. But at the same time, I'm very upset with the way that the Bloodline story has been handled in the last 6 months, because Sami turned on Roman at the Royal Rumble, and then they immediately fucking shoehorned in a World Championship match, which you knew Sami Zayn wasn't going to win. And did Roman beat Sami clean back in Elimination Chamber? I honestly can't remember. I think, pretty sure the Usos were involved and Solo was involved. I don't think that it was. It might have been a clean finish. I don't remember. I do not remember. But Roman Reigns looks incredibly weak. The fact that he can't beat these guys that he's already beaten 100 times. When Roman Reigns came back at WrestleMania 35 after announcing that he was in remission, who did he beat? Oh, wait. Okay, I'm not going to wait. It was Drew McIntyre. He beat Drew McIntyre. So you mean to tell me, fast forward 3 years later, he couldn't beat Drew McIntyre without help from his baby cousin from NXT? Get the fuck out of here. Come on. Come on. You expect me to believe that Roman Reigns couldn't beat this guy he already beat 10 times without help from his baby cousin? Every single Roman Reigns finish, every single match has had the same finish for the last 12 months, and I am fucking over it. It is ridiculous that it's been going on this long, and it just goes to show that, And here's my thing. Vince McMahon wasn't that great in the last couple of years of booking the show. But Triple H is showing that he's not either. Because Triple H believes, okay, I get it. Triple H believes in the sizzle, not the steak. I understand. I understand that. Triple H is all about slow building these moments and slow building these big things that make it, when it finally happens, it makes it feel bigger. But the fact that Roman Reigns has won every single match in the last 12 months, thanks to help from his cousins, and has not won a single match clean, like I said, there might have been one or two. I don't remember. But the fact that he's done all of this with help from the Usos and everything, every single match, it makes Roman Reigns look weak. And I don't think many people realize that. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, he's the GOAT. He's Tribal Chief. He's the greatest of all time." Roman Reigns, like you right here. I'm over the whole Roman Reigns acknowledge me deal as well. I understand, when you're the head of the table, when you're the head of the Samoan bloodline, you need to be acknowledged because you are the Tribal Chief. That's a big deal in real life, not in professional wrestling. But, Roman Reigns is at a point in his life or a point in his career where he's surpassed the likes of, in terms of championship reigns and everything, he's passed the likes of John Cena. He's passed the like of The Rock. He's this generation's, like I said, he's this generation's Bruno. He's this generation's Hogan. He's this generation's John Cena, this generation's Rock. But it's not in a good way. Roman Reigns has been champion since August 23rd, I believe, of 2020. And almost every single match, there's been some kind of stupid, screwy finish that has just ruined like the entire pacing of the match. Go back to the 2021 Royal Rumble, the last man standing match. Okay. The last man standing match between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. Great match up until the fucking finish, because Roman Reigns was handcuffed and the referee was counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Roman was handcuffed. And then the referee just went and stopped counting because the damn handcuffs got stuck and they couldn't get them unlocked. It took Paul Heyman 3 minutes to unlock Roman Reigns from those damn handcuffs. 3 minutes for him to get Roman Reigns out of those handcuffs, and the referee just stopped counting. At that point, he should have just kept counting, gave the championship to KO, and had Roman beat his ass the next night and take it back at that point. It's always some kind of stupid, pointless, screwy finish. It started with Vince booking it, and now it's continuing with Hunter booking it. And unfortunately, as much as I really want to give Triple H the benefit of the doubt, for the last number of months, Triple H has not done anything to impress me besides bring a couple people back. He bought Johnny Gargano back. He bought Karrion Kross back. He bought Jonah back, or Bronson Reed back, Braun Strowman back. He bought Bray Wyatt back. And look at the Bray Wyatt situation. Look at the Bray Wyatt situation and tell me it's not one of the most fucked situations. Bray Wyatt came back after like 4 months of teasing his return. He finally comes back, doesn't wrestle for another 4 months, has one match. Where the fuck is he? Hasn't been seen. I know he's hurt right now, but he hasn't been seen, hasn't been heard from. No teases, no Uncle Howdy, no Firefly Funhouse. They started the whole thing with Alexa Bliss. That got fucked off. Triple H is not as good a booker as everybody says he is, and it's fucking horrible. It's really sad to see that people praise Triple H, and it's the same reason I get mad at people for praising Tony Khan, because Tony Khan's not a good booker either. They put all of these people on this super high pedestal, and then they sit there and talk, down and speak down about the way Vince McMahon did things. Yeah, Vince McMahon was pretty bad, especially the last couple of years. But when Tony Khan and Triple H are doing the same thing, but you're not putting them down here, you're putting them up here because it's not Vince. Your hatred for Vince and your hatred for the WWE goes, beyond whatever it is, and you just want to, speak down about Vince McMahon. And again, Vince McMahon is somebody who probably deserves some speaking down to, but like the way that people put Tony Khan and Triple H on the super high pedestal, for booking the exact same garbage that Vince was, it's insane. It's insane how fast people are willing to turn a blind eye because it's somebody they like. It's insane to see how fast they turn a blind eye. And unfortunately, that's why wrestling's in the shitter. And that's why wrestling's ratings will never be the same as they were in the 80s and 90s. That's why wrestling's never going to hit that boom point again that it hit in 97, 98, 99, 2000. Because, everything just went downhill. The quality of the matches has gotten a lot better, yes. But the booking is still the same. It's still that old school ideology of booking that doesn't work. And until these people who book these promotions, now I'm not a booker, you know what I mean? I'm not a booker. I'm just a guy who sits here on my couch and does a podcast for like 6 people to watch. You know what I mean? Like, but when these guys realize that, their stuff isn't working and they do something different, maybe the shows will be better. Maybe AEW will finally hit 1 million viewers again after like 3 years of not. Maybe WWE will get back into 2.0s on Monday Night Raw instead of 1.9s. But it is it is what it is. Wrestling, CM Punk said it best. The wheel's going to keep on turning, and no matter what we do or what we say, the wheel's going to keep on turning, and the machine's going to keep on moving. And for me to quote CM Punk, it's pretty fucked. I can't stand CM Punk. But yeah, this whole situation, if they put the titles on Roman at Night of Champions, then I've lost all faith in Triple H as a booker, and I am losing faith in the WWE to tell a decent storyline for once, because they had something with the bloodline, and then it got really, really stale really fast after WrestleMania. Everything cooled off really fucking fast. I was there, Michael. I was there when Bray Wyatt came back, dude. One of the loudest crowd reactions I've ever heard in my life. I was there, man. Like, when Bray Wyatt came back, that arena was so loud, I left with a headache because it was so loud. I was so loud. Like, when the lights went out and Matt Riddle and Daniel Cormier were on the stage, everybody knew what was happening. As soon as you heard he's got the whole world in his hands, it was on. The crowd lost their minds, and then you saw the Fiend in the crowd. You saw Mercy the Buzzard in the crowd. You saw Abby the Witch in the crowd. All this stuff going on. And when Bray came out and he took that fucking mask off, that was hands down the holy shit chants, the dead silence, and then the crowd exploding when that mask came off was one of the loudest things I've ever heard. And the fact that Triple H fumbled it that bad by not having Bray Wyatt wrestle for 4 months, and then the match he did have was a shitty street fight that lasted 6 minutes on a major pay-per-view. Again, I don't have very much faith in Triple H as a booker. That match should have been longer. That match should have been more hard-hitting than what it was, and it really didn't need that fucking stupid pitch black thing. It was cool. It looked cool. Yeah, Karrion Kross has gotten lost in the shuffle as well. I'm going to be real with you. I'm not a Kross guy at all. When he debuted in NXT, I said he was boring. I said he was bad. I did not like him. When he came to Monday Night Raw for the first time, I didn't like him. He left, went to the Indies. I didn't like him. I seen him in person at PPW. I'm pretty sure you know what PPW is, don't you, Michael? Right? I do think you've been there. I seen him at PPW. He wrestled Davey Richards. Great match. Fantastic match. And Karrion Kross even posed for a picture so I can take a picture of him from the ringside. He stood up on the turnbuckle post and like pointed at me. There's a really cool picture. I wish I had it on me right now. I'd show you guys. Really fucking sick. But again, I just don't like Karrion Kross. And when they brought him back, I was like, oh, it's cool that he's back. Maybe they'll do something different with him that'll make him more interesting. They haven't. They haven't. They had the strap match, the feud with Drew, and now he's supposed to be feuding with Rey Mysterio in the LWO, but I think that got scrapped. I met Scarlett at WrestleCon. Yeah, Scarlett, she's super sweet in person, man. She really is one of the nicest people I ever met. I won't say anything bad about Karrion Kross or Scarlett as people, because they're super nice people. I met them both, super fucking nice people. But there's something about Karrion Kross in the ring that just doesn't click with me. I don't know if it's because he's too old school for my liking, or if it's the fact that he's too bland. He's got cool tattoos. He's got the girl. He's got the cool entrance. And then when the bell rings, he's just there. There's nothing really special about Karrion Kross that sets him away from anybody else. I said it best when Karrion Kross was in NXT. If I wanted to watch a bald dude in black trunks go and be dominant, I would just go watch Goldberg in 1997 because it's more entertaining. And then Karrion Kross comes to WWE, and now he has hair, and there's just nothing about him that interests me. Oh, he's targeting AJ Styles now. Was that on SmackDown? Did I miss that? Let me check here. I have my controller. Let me go back, and I'm on WWE YouTube channel right here. Here's the Grayson effect with AJ Styles. We'll watch that when this is over. He's injury prone as well. Yes, very injury prone. I remember he lost NXT Championship. And then here's my thing. They built up Keith Lee for months heading into that match. He was the unified North American champion, NXT champion, and then he won the NXT title. and then they forced him to surrender the North American Championship, and then they made Karrion Kross beat him in like 7 minutes. Not even at NXT. They built Keith Lee up to be the star. Keith Lee is one of the biggest fumbles in WWE history, and there's been a lot. Keith Lee is one of those fumbles. Samoa Joe is another one. But Keith Lee, oh my God, dude, it was one of my all-time favorite signings. I was so happy to see this past Friday or last Friday. Okay, yeah. I was super excited to see Keith Lee in WWE. I was super excited to see him in NXT. I was extremely happy when he got called up, and they put him in a fucking dress, and that was the end of it. I think it was a dress. It was something because Vince didn't like him because he was fat. But fuck you, Vince. I'm fat. Fucking fight me. Like, come on. Like, they treated Keith Lee like nothing. NXT built him up to be a star, and they treated him like he was fucking nothing on the main roster. And that's the problem with a lot of these NXT guys. They got called up and were treated like they were nobodies. And that's more of a Vince thing than anything else. And I will not forgive Vince for fumbling Keith Lee, Samoa Joe. There were so many NXT call-ups. Adam Cole letting him go to AEW was one of Vince's biggest fucking fumbles. Adam Cole could have been a major star on the main roster. And if the rumors were true that they want to put him with Keith Lee, then fucking yeah, I agree. Keith Lee in AEW has become a wash. It's very sad to see that they don't know. Nobody knows how to book Keith Lee properly, and that's what it comes down to. Vince couldn't do it. AEW can't do it, and it's very sad to see because Keith Lee's a fucking star. When I seen him back in Northeast Wrestling back in 2017, I said this man's going to be a star within the next 5 years, and I was right. And then I wasn't because they built him up, NXT champion, North American champion, and then they made him lose the titles, and that was it. And all that just for Karrion Kross to get injured, come back, and win the titles from Samoa Joe. It was just a mess. It was a mess. It didn't need to happen. And I was very upset. So Adam Cole and Britt Baker are the power couple of AEW, baby. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm not a Britt Baker fan, especially some of the behind-the-scenes shit I've heard about her. I heard she's a very, very nasty person behind the scenes, and I could be wrong. That's just hearsay. But there's a lot of drama in the AEW locker room, the Punk Elite drama, Sammy Guevara and Andrade drama. There's just every other week there's somebody beefing with somebody behind the scenes, and it's a kid's show, man. Like, come on. Not a kid's show, but it feels like the inmates are running the asylum over there, and that's why there's a lot of beef going on. Egos running wild, and that's why I like the way WWE runs things as opposed to the way AEW runs things. WWE has a set way of how things are going to go. AEW just kind of goes and says, "Go for it," and then you get issues like the Punk and the Elite issues, and the Sammy Guevara and Andrade fight, and Thunder Rosa's sandbagging, and Britt Baker fucking stiffing, and all that. It's child's play. It really is. It's stupid. It's stupid. All that for 10 minutes of TV time a week. Come on, get the fuck over it. Get over yourself, seriously. But letting Adam Cole go to AEW was one of Vince's biggest fumbles, and unfortunately, it seems like Adam Cole's career is going to end in AEW. And then I understand why they let Bryan Danielson go. I understand there was no animosity there. So I can't be mad at them for that one because Bryan wanted to go and explore other options. And Adam Cole did too. So I can't really be mad at – I'm not mad at Adam Cole or Bryan at all. I'm not mad at Samoa Joe. I'm not mad at Keith Lee for going over there. Not at all. I'm mad at the WWE for allowing them to go, okay. Are you that fucking stupid? You're going to let one of your biggest stars go? But again, Bryan, I understand, he wanted to go and travel the world. He wanted to have a lighter schedule. And AEW grants him that lighter schedule. He gets to go home and be with his family, which he pretty sure he enjoys. Everybody would enjoy that. So I'm happy that he's doing all right in AEW. I was hoping he would have won the title from MJF back at Revolution, but it is what it is because MJF's championship reign has been pretty bad, pretty bland. But I'm not mad at them for leaving. I'm mad at WWE for letting them go. You know what I mean? Keith Lee, Adam Cole, right there could have been your WrestleMania. What year was that? 21 when Cole and everybody left? That could have been your WrestleMania 38 main event. Instead of Roman and Brock, that could have been your WrestleMania 38 main event right there. Adam Cole and Keith Lee. They could put on a good match because they did it fucking countless times in NXT. So it is what it is, but I'll never forgive the WWE for doing what they did to Adam Cole, and I'll never forgive them what they did to Keith Lee. Karrion Kross, I'll look past. Like I said, I don't like Kross in the ring. Like I said, outside the ring, great guy, super personable. Talk to him for a little bit. Great fucking dude. Scarlett, great fucking person as well. Two very sweet people outside the ring. I would like to see Scarlett wrestle a little more though on WWE because I know she can get in there. I know she can go. So I would like to see Scarlett wrestle a little more. But we're getting away from the point here. We are getting the fact that Vince didn't like him physically. Yeah, I can see that happening because Adam Cole. If you look at him compared to a lot of the other guys, Adam Cole is a very small dude. But it doesn't matter. Like Daniel Bryan was a small guy, right? Mysterio is a small guy. Hell, compared to some of the people he's fought, AJ Styles is a small guy. You know, so I don't know. I really think that Vince fumbled it with Adam Cole, and I will never forgive him for that. And if they put the championships on Roman Reigns at Clash of Champions or Night of Champions, whatever the fuck it's called, I won't forgive him for that either. But I've been ranting now for like an hour, and I got to get a bunch of shit done around the house. So if you guys like what you hear here, you guys like what you see, do me a favor and do this right here. Let me get my finger up in the camera. Right there. Yeah. Follow Wrestling All Day Podcast on social media. And if you'd like, please give us consider subscribing to our Patreon. Our lowest tier starts at just $1. You get special shout outs on all of our videos. And then again, I'd like to spend a special Patreon shout out to Yang Badur, one of my homeboys, for subscribing at our $1 tier. Get a special shout out every single month, as well as early access to all of our not live videos. So you guys want to check that out. Patreon.com/Wrestling All Day Pod. Lowest tier is just $1. But with that in mind, I'm ready to get out of here. I hope I didn't bore you guys too much. I appreciate you guys for joining me. Michael, thank you for holding it down with the chat. And everybody, if you guys are going to watch this later, let me know what you think. I'll come back and I'll read your comments later. Awesome show. Thank you. Oh, it's your birthday. Hold up. Everybody. Before we go, we're going to take a special moment here to wish our boy Michael Churro a very happy birthday. I hope I'm saying the last name right. Wish you a very happy birthday. I'm glad you can join me. I'm glad you decided to spend the last hour of your birthday instead of doing something fun. You spent your time with me. I appreciate that. But honestly, I really do appreciate that, and I hope you have a wonderful fucking birthday. Okay, I greatly appreciate that. So, very, very happy birthday to you. Thank you for joining us. This has been the Wrestling All Day Podcast. You can catch us on all of our social medias. Oh, I'm in the camp. There it is. Right behind me. You can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us. You're very welcome, Michael. You can watch us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Hell, we're even on TikTok. That probably won't be much longer, though. Our TikTok is kind of inactive right now. It's TikTok, so it's hit or miss. But yeah, you guys can check us out on all of our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube right here, Facebook right here. And again, before y'all go, make sure you wish my boy Michael a happy birthday. And remember, it's not just all day, it's every day. I'll catch y'all for the next one. I'm out of here.